that when we show a school way, we show it as a believer. That's what I want you to write down. It has to be believable, guys. If you're a senior student standing out there, whether you're in the front line, middle line, back line, it doesn't matter. If you're punching still like this and counting still like this, 1, 2, you're not believing in what you're doing. Therefore, you're not role modeling leadership there. So sometimes what happens is we get so caught up with our day, and we've been doing, coming to the school and knowing the structure of the class layout, the routine of the class layout, so we just kind of zone out. We get in the zone and we just kind of go through the motions. What I need you guys to do now that we're learning this is pull yourself right out of that and start doing things like it's believable. So, okay, everybody would like to do that, but how, Sifu? How do I do it? I don't sometimes even realize whether I'm doing that or not. I like to do that, but I don't know how to cross over to do that. So here's how. When you speak, whether you're counting or using your reflect box, whatever you're doing, make sure that your voice, here's what you write down, has a presence to it. It can't be one of the monotone voices amongst the group. A leader is confident enough, has enough experience and time in, that they don't mind standing out. Standing out is how everybody knows you're the role model, and that you're the leader, and that you're demonstrating the way. You have to understand the way well enough in order to believe in it, to have the confidence to stand out. So that's why we talk about these things, because sometimes it's just simply that it needed to be clarified, or it was just a misunderstanding of what was expected. Okay? So that's why we go over it. So the first thing is that your voice has to have a presence to it, a leadership presence to it, not a monotone voice that gets lost amongst all the other voices in the class. Okay? So I want you to have the confidence and the courage to stand out as the advanced rank that you are. And if you're here with me today, you're one of those advanced ranks. So what you need to say is, okay, I tried it. Did it work? Well, let's think of it this way. How do we know that it worked, right? If there were 10 of you, just exactly like you, 10 of them, in a class, would you like to train in that class? Would you be motivated by that class? Would you know who the leader is in that class? There's some questions. That's where we need to get honest with ourselves. Know where we need to push, because remember, all about leadership, I explained to you, you have to be able to handle the push, right? So you guys not only need to be able to handle the push from me, but sometimes you get so used to me, like, Sifu's pushing me again, you know? One of those days, right? But you need to learn how to self-coach. Push yourself. Gauge it yourself. Make a judgment call on it yourself. Because you need to be rising up to a black sash level where you're a leader. And that's how we check it. If there were 10 of you, would you know who to follow? If there were 10 of you, would you be happy to be in that class? Would you be motivated by that class? Would you know what kind of energy you were supposed to be putting behind your punches, behind your counting, right? Behind all of that, if there were 10 of you, just like you. Would you look at one of those 10 and say, wow, that kick was strong and hard. I wouldn't want to stand in front of that person's kick, right? Or was it just kind of down the floor, right? So we need to be motivated by ourselves, by our own energy and our own effort. Write down effort, because sometimes you're doing class very well and very routinely, but you're not necessarily putting in all the effort that would excite someone who's watching you. You're not putting that level of effort in. So they look at you and they think, I guess that person's doing the right kick. But if they looked at you and went, whoa, look at that person's kick. Let me try to get my leg up, or faster, or harder, whatever it is. You know, that's what we want. A leader inspires other people to follow. And they have to do that with that kind of energy and effort that makes other people want to be like you. What the other students are doing in class, because you guys are advanced students, they're a reflection of you. So let's say the Sifu's going out there delivering all the good lessons, running the good training, being consistent, doing the do, and all the students are not rising to a leadership level, the advanced students that is. And then all the other students in the class are kind of doing whatever, don't really care, this and that. That's a reflection of you guys, believe it or not. You say, I didn't tell the guy to act like that. I didn't say like, right. But if you didn't demonstrate the way strong enough, well enough, and consistent enough, they're not going to rise to that level. You're pulling them up with your leadership. Majority rules. So if the whole advanced team rises up, guess what the rest of the school's going to do? Right? Rise up as well. Because they feel that's the way. And they're here to learn the way. Why do you think they come? You know? And they don't just work out in their living room. Right? So they're coming to be a part of all of you. You guys have the way because you've been here longer, you've heard it longer, and it's been explained to you more times. So if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that is a reflection of you guys. So that's where we learn leadership, accountability, you know? It's a tough pill to swallow sometimes because, you know, sometimes you think, geez, I'm giving it out, I'm doing my best. That's a little discouraging, you know? But you need to be accountable. You need to have thick skin, and you need to keep trying. And, you know, maybe you don't realize it, but you could have done a little bit better. You just got in the zone and you forgot to do a little better. You forgot to push. You forgot to push, okay? Am I asking you to go out there and push yourself to the point of extreme where you get hurt? No, you know I'm not. I trust you guys not to get hurt, okay? But what I do expect is that you, even though maybe your physical attributes might be different than someone else's, everybody's different, you can still use that enthusiasm, that effort, that motivation to learn and do well. You can still, that energy feeds energy, guys. Let's make sure it's positive. You know? Mm-hmm. And you can still do that, you know? Just because you have to adapt something physically from a move, you know, and you don't do that move exactly like that because you have to adapt it physically. Maybe it's your hip or, you know, something. Everybody has something, you know? You had to adapt it. Doesn't mean that you don't understand that move as an advanced student. You get me? Just because you have to adapt it doesn't mean you don't understand it. So you need to demonstrate that understanding and that motivation to learn. Beyond memory. Move beyond memory. You need to be in it, not just body and making your body go through the motions, but mind and spirit. That's Kung Fu, you know? Kung Fu is the science behind the movement. You know, Kung Fu is a fight. There's a fighting element behind everything. If you understand the science behind the movement, you can put that element in. So you have to get beyond just memory of movement and choreograph and things like that. And you have to get your mind and spirit involved. And if you just zone out and go into that robotic, I know this routine, I know that what she's going to do, and we just go through it and we don't get into it, mind and spirit, we forget what we're trying to, this is key, develop. We forget what we're trying to develop. All that hard work that we're doing out there, all that sweat we're putting into it, you know, all of our heart and soul that we're putting into this, coming in here multiple times per week, if we don't get into it, mind and spirit, and we just end up going through memory, you know, and don't get into it like that, we forget what we're trying to develop. Like when you're punching, you know, it's not just a cardio workout. And trust me, as an advanced student, if you're still doing this, you're not even getting the cardio, okay? So you need to remember, what am I doing, you know? What am I doing here and why am I doing it? What am I trying to develop? If I'm punching, right? I'm not just swinging my arms, going through the motion to be a part of class or to get a little exercise, right? What are you trying to do there? You're trying to develop something in each and everything that you do from the moment you walk in that door before you even get onto the blue floor. You're trying to develop something as a student here. Every moment counts that you are in this school, before class, during class, and after class. Because you're trying to develop something, being here. Your time has value here, extreme value here. You guys are motivated students, advanced students, students who would like leadership traits, students who would like to rise to high levels, students who would like to actually feel like a black sash and not just wear one. Does that make sense, guys? And that's what we want here. You know, black sash would have absolutely no value to it if we just handed it to you in the first week you walked in. Right? It's just a piece of cloth, right? We could just hand it to you. And then, well, what is it, right? No. It's important because it's a reflection of you, of all of your hard work and everything that you've worked so hard to develop and become. And so you wear it proudly because it's something you've achieved, something you worked hard for. Okay? So you want to continue to pour all this in, get in the moment, be your best self, right? And rise other people to it. If they see you put all that work into black sash and be that black sash and be proud of that black sash, guess what they want to be one day? Of course. They want to be a black sash and beyond. Cool if it's all one way as far as understanding and leadership, but not personality. Diversity rises us up stronger, you know, because everybody adds in their strongest elements, you know? Right? Because like his strengths are different than his strengths or her strengths, right? But what if we only had his? We can only do hopefully 50% of that, right? But if we had some of him, and some of her, oh man, what are we looking at now? Now add him, and him, and him, and him, right? And her, and him, right? So diversity brings us stronger guys. You need to bring your strongest, best self to the leadership table. And then, wow, what kind of school are you a part of? And what does that do for you? Not just everyone else, right? Okay? So this is what we're trying to accomplish here. This is our life's work, Seagung and I. This is the thing that we want to achieve ourselves for others, you know? We saw it work for us somewhere along the line of 30, 40 years in. That worked for us in our life and got us to be who we want to be. We'd love to see that happen for other people. And so we put a school here, a Kung Fu school, because Kung Fu's cool, right? Kung Fu's something you work hard at. Kung Fu's something Seagung and I love. So we share it with you guys. And now it's your responsibility. It's you guys who are accountable to rise up to your best potential and try to get other people to find something in you that they'd like to follow. And you don't need to be perfect because you're part of a team. So where you're not perfect, he takes over, she takes over, right? It's a great thing. There isn't really anything out there that's greater than this. So we want to be our best selves here and not get stuck in robotic mode, you know? So let's try as leaders to really get our mind and spirit into it. Remember what we're trying to develop, and remember that we need to show that we're believers, you know? And that what Seagung and I are doing here with this school catches on amongst majority. Why would we need to train consistently every week?
It's not what we don't lose what we learn.
We don't lose what we're learning. It's not good for our body if we don't. Because this is a real training program, you know. know how to play around and learn a couple choreographed moves program, and even that, sometimes tough with Kung Fu, but this is a real training program, so people need to train consistently. It's also very disrespectful to the instructors who are teaching a group like that and trying to make sure they see you as an individual and not just one of many of the group, and they care about your progress, and they need to design the class to make sure that they keep track of everybody as an individual and don't just let you get lost in the crowd. So training every week, that's pretty important. It's important for your body, for your growth, and it's also important for being respectful back to what your Sifus are giving. Your Sifus aren't just running a cardio class where you can jump in, jump out, they don't care if you're there or not there, right? They're looking out for your personal development. They're keeping track of your progress, and they're making sure that you get what you need as a student, and they're not forgetting about you. They care, and they're looking to see, when they look out at their class, who's here today so that I can make sure that I didn't forget anybody, everybody rises to their full potential today. Imagine that they know each and every one, and they don't just, whatever, whoever's here is here. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you show that respect back as a senior student. Try to train consistently every week. Now,